Good morning and welcome back to another WestysAngling. We're at a new fishery today, folks. Today we're at Beefold Fishery in Atherton, and I'm about to go down and have my first look at the venue because I've never been here before, never even looked at the fishery before, but it's been recommended to me by a number of people. Quite a big lake, it's 2.2 acres. And it's a beautiful, naturalistic looking venue. As you can see, it is a miserable morning. It's been absolutely lashing it down, so I really don't know how the fishing's going to be. It's a very clear water, very weedy in parts by the looks of it, lily pads. I am told that it can be difficult fishing, but there are some absolutely amazing fish in here to target. The carp go into the 30s with a number of fish going over 20 pounds. They've got grass carp, I believe they've got a few other special target fish as well, which I'm not going to mention, but the grass carp is one of the main reasons that I'm down here today. Now there's only a handful in, so it's probably going to be a difficult challenge for me to target them specifically, but they're definitely on my target species list for this year, so that's one of the reasons that I'm down here giving it a go today, just to have a look at the water more than anything and try and figure it out a little bit for a longer session. I'm only going to do a morning today, and I'm probably going to fish it on beefed up method feeders. I will put a list of the rules up right here now. At the time of filming, currently it's £5 for a day ticket here, so really cheap fishing, but I am told it's not a runs water, but there are some really nice fish in here. Apparently tench all the way up to £10, some big bream, like I said, carp into £30, but look at this, stunning. I believe it's a great place to come and fish on the pole for silvers as well. There's some good silvers in here, some good perch. Which peg shall we choose? Where do we think is going to be out of the way of people? I can't see many people coming today because, like I said, it is an absolutely miserable day. Water level looks like it's right down, like it is everywhere. Let's see if we can find a clearer swim. Looks really well maintained though, at a first glance. You see, obviously, because I'm filming, I don't just need to think about where the best place for fishing is, I need to think about where the best place for filming is. So I need somewhere I can set up my pentalite shelter, really. That'd be ideal, because I can't be getting the camera wet. This fishery must be a really healthy fishery for fish to be achieving the kind of sizes that they are, and maintaining them as well. I like the look of this peg here, folks. I'm hoping that I'd be able to get my pentalite shelter in. What have I got access to? I've got access to the lily pads. Goes off fairly shallow, maybe like 2 foot, 3 foot there, but it's so clear you can see it all the way out. A couple of fish topping. Not really many features in this peg, but still a nice swim. Let's keep looking round. I like the look of this bay. I think the lake does go pretty deep in parts. In terms of areas on the lake where it goes deep, I'm not sure. I'm just assuming that these corners here are going to be shallower. One of the rules at this fishery is £15 main line, and I see why, because it's obviously very, very snaggy, and if there's obviously big fish in here, then you're going to have to be careful. I was going to fish it on solid bags, but it's such a wet and miserable day that it might be quite difficult to use solids, so that's why I'm thinking beefed up method feeders might be the way forward. With a carp hook length and fishing it obviously for the bigger fish. I could put my pentalite back here out of the way and put my rod pod down here. There's a carp. Just moved out from this margin here. No, this is the peg, folks. I've got a nice little private area to set up my pentalite there, just so the carp move out. Close in. Yeah, this is the spot. I'm going to have to get my stuff on the barrow. I have brought my barrow with me, luckily, and I'll have to barrow it all the way around this side. Yeah, and I can see carp there topping. That was a good fish, that. £15 at least. Am I going to catch today, folks? I don't know, but you've got to be in it to win it. This session for me is more of an exploratory session, you know, having a look at the fishery, trying to get to grips with it, and it's one of the only places that's actually given me permission to film. I'm really struggling at the moment, folks, for fisheries to get back to me and give me permission to do my videos. So if you're a fishery owner and you're in the Lancashire or surrounding areas and you want me to come down and do a fishery review or do a video at your fishery, then get in contact with me please on the WestysAngling Instagram or Facebook. I think I've decided on that peg there, right in the corner. I've seen a carp moving off from the margins, I spooked it, so can't get any better than actually seeing a fish, can you? And you've got access to loads of different spots there. That snaggy overhanging tree, 2 sets of lily pads, you can cast straight out, assuming that nobody turns up. I'm gonna go and get the stuff out the car. I definitely think I'm going to start off on the beefed up method feeders. I'm going to use a size 10 carp hook. You're allowed to use micro barbed here for the carp. I've got to set my cradle up and I've got 42-inch landing net, so all carped up gear. I don't think you have to fish like that if you're targeting the silvers or if you're fishing the pole, but there's definitely been a carp feeding down there because there was loads of bubbles and stuff. Sorry folks, voice is going. But there was loads of bubbles down there as well, so definite feeding activity. I don't know what it is recently, but everywhere is fishing so hard, especially up north. It just seems like so difficult. I'm finding it difficult anyway. Maybe it's because I'm fishing more challenging venues, but just getting a good head of carp on the bank just seems very, very hard at the moment. But there's some beautiful pegs, nice scenery, trees and woodland around. I will put the address for the fishery in the description for you, but you drive as if you're going towards a new housing estate, and it is a right turn up what looks like a path, but it's not a path. Follow Google Maps and it'll take you right here. And I've just parked right next to the fishery on the side of the road. Is it disabled access? I would say some pegs are, definitely, if you're travelling light. Loads of little bench areas and stuff. It's really nice for like socials and what have you. Heron over there. He obviously thinks that there's a caterpillar on my lens. Look. How did that get there? I'm going to stop yapping. Let's get into the video. Let's see if we manage to get anything. The gear that I'm going to be using today, I'm going to be using my Pen Affinity LTD reels, carp fishing reels loaded with 15-pound mono, and I'm going to be using my 3 1/4 test Sonic Insurgent rods in 10 foot. Nice short rods, not casting far here, but they can still whack a bag out, no problem. I'm wondering where that carp moved out from. It was like it was sort of here. There is a lot of low-lying weed, folks, so this is why I thought PVA bags and method feeders would be the way forward. I've got the stuff with me to do both. Just because we saw that carp moving out from the margins close in, I'm going to set up back here, and then when I'm ready to cast out, I'll then move my rod pod down and we'll drop a method feeder down the edge. I don't want to spook anything that might be here. And now I think my other rod I'll put out to the corner of these small lilies, and then we can always fish further out if we need to as well. I'll probably have 3 areas going. Down here, tight close in, just off from the lilies there on the right hand side, and then one towards open water, and I will swap the rod that's next to the lily pads out to the open water swim every now and again. Let's get some pellets soaking for the method feeders. I'm going to go with purr drop today. I'll do about half a bag because I don't think we'll be casting out that often, folks. And obviously we're using the old Olympian tackle bucket and pellet wetter. I'm just going to fill that so there's water covering them, and then we'll drain it off in about a minute. And I have got some extra toffee orange pellets there, but we'll start off on purr drop. Now I'm fully aware this is a lot of stuff to be bringing out on a day session, but if you want to target some of the nicer fish in here, you do need it. Oh, look at this. Tiny little toad. I'm pretty sure that's a toadling and not a frog. That's cool. Oh, this is typical fishing weather, isn't it? Typical WestysAngling weather anyway. Dear me, all the fair weather anglers soon stop fishing, don't they? when a bit of rain comes down. Banks are quiet again. There's literally nobody else on today. So these are the method feeders that I've been trialing recently for this kind of fishing, for targeting specimen fish in particular. And these are a 50 or 60 gram distance method feeder, but what I did want to do is cut these stems down a touch. They're a little bit long, and I think they might just sit a bit cockeyed if they're on top of weed or whatever. So I did want to cut them down, but I didn't have time last night. And the reason that they're great for these carp campaigns and stuff that I'm doing is you can literally just tie a loop in the end of your main line and loop these inserts on, and then obviously because you've already got the big loop in your main line, you can then easily swap to using, for example, a solid bag leader or something like that. It's a pretty quick change in between methods. So they're what we're going to be using. They come with a mould on the website at www.westysangling.co.uk. Shameless plug. So that's what I'm going to be using today. But like I said, I was going to cut these down a little bit with a hacksaw. Obviously, once you've cut them down, just use a little bit of fine sandpaper and just smooth off the end of the stems, just so they're not cutting your line or abrading your line. Yeah, so they're perfect. The quick change as well, come in multiple sizes, like most method feeders. So there's something that I will be stocking more of, but these are just a trial. These are 60 gram heavy things, and the reason that I'm using a heavier feeder, not necessarily because of the size, is you need the weight to set the hook when you're using carp hooks on the method feeder. There's no point trying to use carp hooks on a normal 30 gram method feeder because they're not really heavy enough to set that hook home, especially when you're using micro barbed. So anyway, that's what we're using. I'll put them out of the way there. And I'm still going to be using the same hook lengths as I do in solid bags, so I don't have to tie any special hook lengths for them or anything like that. Check the old pellets, see if they're right. Should be. Oh yeah, here we go. They are perfecto. We'll put some glaze on the feeder when we cast it out as well, for a bit of extra smell. Get the net set up. It's a sonic extractor specimen net. I actually really like the look of it down here. I bet you pick up a couple of fish down that way in summer, but I can see the margin down there, so there's definitely no fish down there. I get a lot of comments saying, Westy, why don't you just get straight into the fishing on the Fishery reviews? It's boring watching you set up every time. But that's just not fishing, is it? The setup and the tactics and how I'm approaching it is all part of it. So if you don't want to watch the full setup, just skip it. That's why they have fast forward buttons, isn't it? You know what I mean? Just fast forward it. But if you want to see how I'm approaching it and setting up the rigs, don't skip it. I don't think I'm going to be swapping onto PVA bags today. If you was going to swap between the method feeder and the PVA bags, obviously you'd tie that figure of 8 a lot bigger. And these method feeders work off a sheath type insert, which has got 2 hooks and then a rubber part in the middle, which obviously keeps the line from coming off. So you just pull the rubber sheath back and then push it back over to stop the main line coming out. And the same goes for the hook length on the other side, which brings me on to the hook lengths that I'm going to be using today. So I'm going to go with these little size 10 claw hooks, micro barbed, and it's only got a little tiny herb because I'm going to be carrying on using these, which is the sweet and sour corn method bees, which are an 8x12mm, and they're so subtle, perfect for this bulked up method feeder setup. They're just going to counterbalance the weight of that hook ever so slightly. And these Olympian rig cases have a little separate part for your hook stops. And I'm going to pull that right down into the bait, folks. And there we go. Look at how subtle that is. You can't tell me that don't look like a bite. Little bug imitation wafter. on a size 10, and that'll balance perfect. I'm going to get some coca scope, glaze of course, pull everything together, and then that's ready to load up and get out. I'm going to put this one out towards the middle. I don't jam these inserts in, just enough to get that hook set, and then they'll be free running, just in case we get broke for whatever reason. Look at that setup. Oh, look at this, that sun's coming out. Amazing. It's so warm in that sun as well. Right, let's get this bombed out. I'm going to go towards the middle with this one on the right hand side, and then on the left hand side next to Lily's we're going to put the other one down there. So I need to pick a marker on the far bank, and I'll try and get it in a consistent sort of spot every time. Obviously you all know how to load a method feeder, but I'm just going to put a little bit in the bottom of the mould, crush the hook and hook bait down in there, more on top. Pop that out, you can just about see the hook bait there. Soak that through in coca scope, which is a coconut and Scopex blend. Let's bomb this out. Just in a carp top over there actually, out from that swim. There we go. And we've just got to hope that's not sat in a funny angle in the weed. But yeah, I just think they need trimming down a touch, these beefed up method feeders, in terms of the stem. Stem's just a bit long, but then they'll be ideal. Awesome, we're fishing about an hour later. Oh, just in a fish top there on the spot as well. Happy days. Don't forget I'm fishing for anything really today, folks. There we go, another fish top there, just to the right of them lilies. Let's drop the other one there. There's like a little bit of a fine outcrop of lily pads there. I'm going to drop it just off the end of that, the next rod, I reckon. Because there'll be carp patrolling up and down the edges of them lilies. You can bet your life on it. Forgot I'm not fishing with bait runners. Slacking that drag off a touch. It was alright, but I need to be straight on these rods if I get a fish. If I was doing a 24 hours, I'd probably fish solid. You can do 24 hours here, but you've got to be on the syndicate, I think. And obviously with me fishing so many different venues, it's just pointless me being in any kind of syndicate, so members places really. Wouldn't get my money's worth out of it. And don't forget folks, I got to pay just the same as you guys. Now I think on the other rod I'm actually going to try bottom baits, believe it or not. With it being so clear, I think a subtle hook bait might work really well. I've gone with yellow because I've always found that yellow works best on clear waters like this. So that's why we're using yellow, it's very visible. But on the other one, because it is so clear, and the fish I reckon will find the feed quite easily, I'm going to use some of my garlic glugged Olympian baits, halibut pellets, halibut hook baits that are pre-drilled. And I'm going to band a couple of those on, and I'll show you how I do that. I'm going to get 2 big pellets. I need the wide ones because I'm going to band them. So get 2 wider pellets. I'm going to get my baiting needle, go down the inside of the pellet, and I'm actually going to thread the first one on here, stretch the band out, push it down. So that's 1 pellet on, and you can see that pops open the band there. One that's not going to come off, but what I'm also going to do is put another pellet on inside the band, and that'll really secure it. So there you go, I'm fishing a double pellet rig there on a little hook. Might have been better with a size 8, but we'll have a go with a 10. There's a carp moving out into open water, just come close in. Somebody commented on one of my videos the other day. They said, you can put on a posh voice all you want, Westy, but when you say her, we know where you're from. We know you're northern. So true that. Get it, belly, don't hurt. Right, where are we going? I'm sure there's carp in and out of this margin, you know. Just not got the confidence to fish in such clear water so close in. Don't know what it is. Right, let's go just off the side of them pads. my god, that is perfect. I've just spooked a carp as well, and it is deep there, folks. That is deep. I reckon we're in a good spot there. We'll have to get straight on these. I'm going to fish with a slightly slacker line on that one. I'll probably cast out a couple of times in quick succession, maybe every 20 minutes for the first hour, and then I'll leave it for 45 minutes to an hour after that. Obviously it's a Specimen lake, so clear. But look at how snaggy it is. I'm not sure if you can see that. Through the polarised lenses there. There's a shoal of fish there. Shoal of little fry in the margin. Singing away. I'm going to stand the GoPro up there. I have brought the tripod. I'm going to stand it up on top of the tripod so I can talk to you a second. One of my goals and challenges for this year, and I haven't really talked about it or introduced it on the channel yet, is targeting grass carp. And they are a very, very difficult species to target specifically. You know, there's things that you can definitely do to improve your chances. You need to be fishing somewhere that allows surface fishing, really. They get caught off the top more often than not, on bread and, you know, floating baits. And this is why I think this will be a good fishery. I think getting them off the top here, and I'm also going to try Brookside in Warrington as well for grasses. And I do believe that they have them in Hillside as well. So there's 3 fisheries there that are fairly local to me that I'll be able to target grass carp. But it's going to be a difficult challenge. I've never caught a grass carp, but I don't do a lot of specimen fishing. And this is a specimen lake, really. While you can come here and fish for silvers and stuff like that, I believe it's mostly for targeting specimen fish on a day ticket. There's a lot of stock of big fish and it's going to be difficult. And are we going to blank? Probably. Probably. But this is turning into a beautiful day. I looked outside this morning. It was lashing it down. It was blowing a gale against the window, and I thought, I don't fancy it. But I said to one of the bailiffs here, and I think he's the fishery manager actually, I said to him that I was going to come down, and I don't really like letting people down when I promise something. So here we are, on our own, on the fishery. It's always been my promise to you guys that I would show the good and the bad parts of fishing. And at the end of the day, a bad day's fishing is better than a good day's working any day of the week, isn't it? I mean, those two things kind of intermingle with me a little bit. And I'm sure a lot of you out there are thinking, oh, I would love to do what you're doing, Westy. I'd love to be a YouTuber and all this kind of stuff, but obviously YouTube pays hardly anything. It's the website that mostly supports my income, and it is difficult coming out to these places and filming and, you know, all the stuff that goes with it. So don't ever think that these YouTubers have got it easy. They haven't. It's not physically hard work, but it can be mentally draining, especially when you're tired in the morning. You're trying to get your words out. It's hard work, folks, honestly. The amount of retakes that you've got to do, and then people are looking at you like you've lost your marbles. I mean, they're probably right, but it's still, once all that's over and done with, and I've got the rods out, then it's calm and I'm chilled. And I am lucky. And I just want to thank everybody who watches the videos, through the blanks and through the good, through the bad. I want to thank you, because it allows me to come out and do these kind of things. There's fish topping on the spot, but I think the small fish. I'm on the back of the wind today. There's only a slight breeze, but I'm questioning whether that's the right move. Let me show you. So you can see the wind blowing down that bottom corner there. I don't know whether I'm in a good spot or not. You've got to work out a fishery, and it takes a while. That's why I'd always recommend to people, obviously pick a few fisheries that you like and stick to those and really get to know them. Don't do what I do and fish loads of different fisheries all the time, because it definitely lowers your chances of catching, because you have no idea where the fish are. And fish, especially carp, are creatures of habit, and they will predominantly stay around the same kind of areas, or they'll always come back to the same kind of spots. And once you know those spots, and these spots, folks, they can be the size of a dinner plate where these fish habitually feed. They can be really small spots where they've cleared out, you know, a bit of the silt. And finding these places is how you can really master a fishery and, you know, really up your chances of catching. But because I'm coming out doing all these kinds of different fisheries and different types of fishing, trying out new things, I don't catch as often as a lot of people do, because I just don't know the fisheries. I don't know what baits work the best, and don't know the spots. I just gotta go with my watercraft, and we always pick up something, don't we? We usually do. I might put some bread out on top if this sun stays out, and we'll see if any fish come up for it. That's the other option. Well, I've just been trying to film some swallows diving into the water for insects, but as usual with anything wildlife, as soon as you get the camera out, they've just disappeared. Hopefully they come back. Oh, they're so quick. Start making a new swim up closer in, I reckon. I don't want to bait up too many areas, but I do want some options. So let's start a swim going to the end of the reeds here. Well, folks, just had a right good chat with one of the bailiffs, one of the owners. Really nice guy, really accommodating. He said this side that I'm on here is probably better at producing the bigger carp, but he said more frequent captures come out on the other side. He also said that this is usually the better spot for the grasses, so I'm very tempted to try the other side, maybe even just for a few hours later on, because it's quiet. This is just my impression of the fishery so far, but it seems like a proper community style fishery, and you know, there's a lot of help, there's a lot of work goes into it, into the maintenance, you can tell that, and it sounds like they've done a lot of work and they're always improving it. They're adding bigger, better specimen fish. Like I said, there's that 36-pound carp, and to come and have a chance at catching one of those fish, and it's £5 per rod, by the way, so £5 per rod, just so you know. But it's certainly not a runs water. Don't expect to come down here and potentially catch every time that you come. It's not one of those places. This is a place where you can affordably come, have a nice session in a scenic place with the chance of catching some lumps on a day session. And obviously you can ask the owners and the bailiffs about the memberships if you like. But yeah, there we go. So we might have a bit of a move. I'm going to have a recast. The only thing that the bailiff said to mention was, please take your litter home with you. Just take your crap with you, folks. Doesn't take much. Put it in your bag. If the fishery doesn't have a bin, just take it with you. Let's keep these places nice. Let's not be scruffy. I know I'm preaching to the converted here, folks. I know that it won't be the people that are watching my channel that leave stuff like that behind. Oh, that wind's picking up again. In terms of the fishing, very quiet. But is that what fishing's all about? Is it all about the fishing? Answer that in the comments. Look at this fishery. Really nice place. Very naturalistic. Tons of wildlife about. Obviously you've seen some of the shots. I just want to take a minute away from the video to say, if you are enjoying it, all you need to do to support the channel is hit that subscribe button. It means a lot to me. Honestly, all you need to do, I'm not bothered whether you go to the website or buy any of my products or anything like that, All you need to do to support me is hit that subscribe button. And if you're already subscribed, thank you very, very much. It means a lot. Oh wow, what the hell? Is that a carp or is it a bluefin tuna? We're in though, folks. Can't believe it. I've had to crank my drag right up. I didn't want it getting in those pads. I can't believe it. Was not expecting that. On the sweet and sour corn method bees. Where's my net? I'm all over the place. I just wasn't expecting it. On the new feeders as well. It's a scruffy looking common, but it's a fish and it saves the... No! Ah! Oh! Oh my god, the hook pulled. The bloody hook pulled. I got it though. Yeah, the tip's bent out on this hook. Bloody Nash hooks there. I'll have to change that rig, that's no good anymore. But it's done its job. We've got a fish on the back. I can't believe I managed to get the net under it. That was so lucky. Well folks, it's hardly the specimen fish that I've been targeting today, but it's still a fish. But that's what you got to do when you snag fishing. You've got to hit and hold them. If that had got into all these lily pads here, I'd have never got it out, or I would have struggled to. I think it's bigger than it looks actually. Let's get it on the mat and have a look at it. Well folks, I was told don't expect to catch, but we've done it. Oh, it's a nice fish. Yeah, it is a bit of a parrot. It's got loads of energy, this fish, so I'm going to get it back shortly, but there we go. Save the blank. A lovely Beefold common on the sweet and sour corn 8x12mm method bees. It's a long thing. Yeah, I reckon £9. Will you give me £9 for that, folks? Something like that. Right, I'll get it back. There he goes. Down into that gin clear water. Happy days! Well, the bailiff did say all the big fish come out of this side, didn't he, folks? I probably caught the smallest carp in the lake there. I've literally just thrown some bread out to see whether anything comes up again. I've been doing this periodically just to see whether I can get anything coming up for it. As soon as you put some bread out, the ducks are on it, aren't they? How do they know? It's like they sense it. They must always be watching for bread. Crazy. Well, it has certainly been a tough day's fishing today, but it was expected. I was warned it was going to be tough, but we've still managed to get a fish on the bank, which is the main thing, isn't it? And we've enjoyed a day out with some beautiful wildlife around us, got some awesome shots. I'm probably going to be fishing for maybe another hour or so. It was only meant to be a morning session. I've been here since 6 o'clock, so it's coming up to probably about 12:30, 1 o'clock now, so I've stayed longer than I was going to, but I'm going to do another hour. I just wanted to come and have a look at the fishery today, get a bit of a grasp for it. I think I'll bring Papa West down here next time for him to have a go. It was raining this morning. He don't like going out in the rain, my dad. He's a fair weather fisherman these days. And I don't blame him. It was absolutely miserable. But I just want to say once again, I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, make sure you hit that subscribe button, the like button, and if you've got any questions about anything that I've done today or anything about the fishery, I'll do my best to answer them questions in the comment section. I'll see you in the next Westies Angling. Who knows what we'll be doing? Fishery reviews, product testing, river fishing, fly fishing, lure fishing, whatever. We'll be out on the bank. We'll see you next time.